started the record, and that was coming right off the tour, which is an incredible, I guess, it's a whirlwind of, as much chaos as it is, it has a sense of order to it. I get a piece of paper every day that says, this is what you're going to do today. When they set me free into the wild, it's like I'm like a wild animal in that I don't know what to do. It's Pavlovian. Combine that with, a relationship that was created and sort of formed in that circumstance. It's bound for destruction when you reinsert something that is what you're really married to. Technically, I'm married to what I do. And that includes Twiggy. And so us getting back together, it's not, I know that gay marriage is illegal in California, so it's not that. Although, of course there's rumors and video proof that there's been what could be considered homosexual behavior, but there were no erections, so I consider it purely for business, not pleasure. That's me making light of what happened in my life. I have to look back at it and realize that it was a really hard time. Obviously, if you want to know what happened since the last time I've talked to anybody, you listen to the record and you hear it how you want to hear it. You don't hear it like Eat Me, Drink Me. You just hear it by inserting yourself into it. It's a movie. When I watch a movie, I want to be the character. I always want to be the villain. People always say, well, do you have a responsibility being a role model? Role models are mannequins. I'm a role villain. You have to fuck shit up. You have to be bad. You have to take a lot of abuse. But the villains are always the ones that, in the end, attract the damaged women. And I guess that's what I am, a damage magnet. But I guess I'm a damaged person. So that's what Twiggy and I have in common. We're victims. We don't want to be victimized. I make music for people that are victims, and that's not to be said lightly, but I have to make light of it because I don't want to be serious in the era of emo where it becomes just another fashionable card in a store where you look for the section that you want to be in. Emo, rape, murder, suicide, etc. That's why I'm making it. I'm in etc. So that's what I am. Almost in the exact opposite of reality television, which I would never do because, first of all, it's very scripted, and I think that's obvious to everyone. My room became, I don't know, it's a good luck to my manager dealing with the person I leased the house from. But in his ultimate wisdom, he wanted to remove the walls of my bedroom to try and keep them in their integrity. I photographed them in great length, and it appears in the album artwork. But during the period of November to January 5th, when I sang most of the record, and I still, I vacated my home, last week. I've lived alone for the first time in my life. I mean, that may sound like no big deal. I went from living with my parents, Boca Raton, Florida, starting a band, going on tour, living with Twiggy, watching him, various versions of whatever it is that he does, and then I incorporate myself, the usual, stuffing Bible pages and pissing and etc. Then I had a series of relationships with women who often appear in front of cameras, and of course, this has had an effect on me, whether being a director, wanting to act, writing movies, being a center of my life, and always making records that are very essentially cinematic. So this record, just from the beginning, read like a film because I was living a film. I had, is that my light? I had these very same lights in my bedroom, smoke machines. I forget I have them on. I'll be watching TV, and then it'll go, smoke machine, and I laugh because it's comedy, and it's what you would expect. But it's not the Haunted Mansion. The house was haunted by me, but it's like Las Vegas mixed with Calcutta and I guess a haunted house. But it's kind of like if you could create one of those murder mystery weekends, but no one finds the body. Because I always tell girls, like, I'm like, you know, I call a girl randomly because that's how I just scroll through the newspaper. It's like most serial killers, you know, you just flip into, yeah, hey, come over, it's Marilyn Manson, and they don't never believe it. Like, well, I didn't want to come over because I thought you were just some crazy stalker. Like, well, I am Marilyn, but and yes, both, I'm the same. And then they come over and I have Visqueen plastic, the kind you lay down on the, here, Twiggy's here. Oh, you look like a cocaine dealer.
Yeah, I am.
That's fantastic. So, there's a curtain from my bedroom to the bathroom, and this was purely just to hide the fact that I don't like anyone watching me sleep or piss. It's just a phobia I have, and it's also the key to success in relationships. But the plastic is the kind you lay down on the floor when you wrap bodies in, and I say, oh, don't worry, it's fine. You know, I'm not going to kill you and bury you in the backyard. I don't have a shovel, and I don't want to break a sweat, unless it's, you know, the old-fashioned way. So that became, I mean, this is no Match.com, but that became like the way of meeting new people. But I liked living alone, and everyone really had this big preconception that I can't be alone, he can't handle himself alone. So a lot of the record was me going through that trauma, and as much as I'm making it humorous now because I'm sitting next to fucking Don Knotts Johnson. That was pretty good, right? Yeah. Right. It was rough, and he wasn't there for me. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't care. He played the guitar, and then he's like, "Fuck off."
It's not true.
Nah. It was you know, when you're going through troubles involving relationships, it often involves depression and humiliation, and you don't want to talk to anyone, especially police, coroners, or family. And if you were to go into my room, and God knows why you would take your clothes off and allow me to fornicate. Like, a girl actually asked me, "Do you have a condom?" And I said, "Do I look like I have a condom?" That should be the least of your worries. I'm way worse than what you could catch from me. I've got a butcher knife stuck in my wall, and a giant chrome spray paint swastika, and like a cocaine bags duct taped in the shape of like Mickey Mouse. You know, it's all fun and games, but you know, I did find romance through it all. There's a happy ending to the story, kids. The moral of the story is, stay with your best friend. Only do drugs and drink when you're in a good mood, not in a bad mood. And find a manager that only keeps you in a cage for a certain amount of times. The Geneva Convention allows that. And grow your eyebrows back. Don't put your penis in anthills, dirt, or girls that remind you of either of the two. And try and make music your salvation. That sounded really dramatic, right?
It was very dramatic.